What if you could learn English while you sleep? It sounds like a dream, but neuroscience shows it's real. At night, your brain strengthens memory, repeats patterns, and makes language easier to recall the next day. That means your rest can become study time, without stress, without pressure. In this episode, you will learn 15 daily English phrases. Not random vocabulary, but real expressions that native speakers use in work, in travel, in family life every single day. Simple, practical, powerful. Here's how it works. I'll explain each phrase, give natural examples, and show you how it's used in real life. As you listen, your brain will connect meaning, rhythm, and context. By the end, you won't just know new phrases. You'll feel more fluent, more confident, more ready for real conversation. So stay with me until the end because every phrase builds on the last. And every minute you listen is another step toward fluency. Let's begin. Phrase 1. At the crossroads. In English, this phrase describes a decisive turning point. It's not about traffic or streets. It's about moments when your direction in life must be chosen, and every option carries weight. Think about a young professional who finishes a degree. Do they pursue further study, accept a demanding job offer, or take a year to travel? Each path leads to a different identity, a different future. That is being at the crossroads. Example 1. After finishing her research, she stood at the crossroads of academia and industry. Example 2. The country is at the crossroads, and the next decision will define its role in the world. Why is this phrase valuable for you? Because it teaches more than vocabulary. It gives you language to express complexity, uncertainty, possibility, transformation. By using it, you train your English to speak not only about daily actions, but also about the bigger narrative of life. So remember this. When you feel change pressing on you, when one decision can alter everything, you are at the crossroads. Phrase 2. A ripple effect. Imagine dropping a stone into a calm lake. Small circles spread wider and wider. In English, we use this phrase to describe how a single action can create far-reaching consequences. Think of technology. One update to a popular app seems small, but it triggers a ripple effect. Millions of users change habits, companies shift strategies, and new trends emerge. Or in history, Rosa Parks refusing to give up her bus seat looked like a single act of resistance. Yet it created a ripple effect that transformed civil rights in America. Example 1. The teacher's encouragement had a ripple effect on the whole class. Example 2. One simple law created a ripple effect across the economy. Why is this phrase valuable for you? Because it helps you speak about influence, about how small beginnings can reshape large systems. It gives you the ability to explain change, to describe cause and consequence in a natural, powerful way. So remember this. Every phrase you learn, every sentence you practice, creates a ripple effect. It spreads through your memory, your confidence, your conversations, until one small habit becomes transformation. Phrase 3. To hit a plateau. In English, this means progress has slowed or stopped, even though effort continues. The word comes from geography. A plateau is flat land after a climb, high but level. Think about a startup team. At the beginning, growth is explosive. Users double, investors call, energy runs high. Then, suddenly, the numbers stop climbing. The business has hit a plateau. Or think of learning. A student studies daily, vocabulary grows fast, speaking improves. Then one day it feels stuck. No new words, no visible progress. That is also hitting a plateau. Example 1. After 6 months of guitar lessons, he hit a plateau and felt frustrated. Example 2. The company's sales hit a plateau after years of rapid growth. Why is this phrase valuable for you? Because it prepares your mind for real learning. In neuroscience, a plateau is not failure. It is the brain reorganizing, building deeper connections before the next breakthrough. When you know this phrase, you not only gain vocabulary, you also learn a truth about persistence. So next time you feel stuck in English, remember. You may have hit a plateau, but the climb is not over. The next rise is waiting. Phrase 4. A silver lining. In English, this means discovering something positive inside a negative situation. The image comes from clouds. Even when the sky is dark, the sun behind them creates a glowing silver edge. That edge is the silver lining. Think about technology. Imagine your laptop crashes before an important deadline. First, disaster. But the silver lining is that you finally switch to cloud storage, organize your files, and prevent bigger losses in the future. Or consider losing a smartphone. Frustrating, yes. Yet the silver lining might be rediscovering life without constant notifications, or building healthier screen habits. Example 1. The conference was cancelled, but the silver lining was extra time for family. Example 2. Her phone broke, and the silver lining was learning to focus without distractions. Why is this phrase valuable for you? Because it trains your English to express resilience, the human ability to recover from setbacks, teaches you how to turn problems into stories of growth. So remember this. In every challenge, however small or large, there is always a silver lining. Phrase 5, to move the goalposts. This phrase comes from sports. Imagine you're about to score, but suddenly someone shifts the goal further away. Feels unfair. In English, it means the rules or expectations are changed after you already started. Think of modern work life. You finish a project, but during the meeting your boss says, "We actually need more data and a new design by tomorrow." That's moving the goalposts. Or picture a deadline. You prepare the report exactly as required, but at the last moment the requirements change. The target keeps moving and so does your stress. Example 1. The professor moved the goalposts by adding extra requirements to the paper. Example 2. The company moved the goalposts with new policies just before launch. Why is this phrase valuable for you? Because it captures a universal frustration. In work, in study, in life, expectations sometimes shift. By learning this phrase, you gain a natural way to express that stress clearly in English. So the next time plans suddenly change, you can say with confidence, "They moved the goalposts." Phrase 6. On the same wavelength. In English, this means two people understand each other easily, as if their minds are tuned to the same frequency. It describes harmony, shared thinking, effortless connection. Think about basketball. When Steph Curry passes the ball to Klay Thompson without even looking, the crowd knows. They are on the same wavelength. In the NFL, quarterbacks and receivers spend countless hours practicing so they can anticipate each other's moves. Success depends not just on talent but on synchrony. Teamwork in modern offices works the same way. In a brainstorming session, when ideas bounce smoothly, when colleagues finish each other's sentences, they are on the same wavelength. Meetings feel lighter, solutions appear faster, and the team grows stronger. Example 1. The podcast hosts are on the same wavelength, making the show flow naturally. Example 2. During the hackathon, our team was on the same wavelength and solved problems quickly. Why is this phrase valuable for you? Because it expresses connection. In English, fluency is not only about words, it's about building rapport. To be on the same wavelength means to communicate with rhythm, with trust, with clarity. So next time you feel perfect teamwork, whether in sports or in life, you can say with confidence, "We are on the same wavelength." Phrase 7, to drop the ball. In American English, this means failing to meet a responsibility, making a mistake that costs trust, time, or opportunity. The image comes from football. Imagine the Super Bowl, the stakes at their highest. Tom Brady throws a perfect pass, but the receiver drops the ball. The play collapses, the momentum is lost. One slip can change everything. This phrase is not only about sports. In startups, where timing is everything, dropping the ball can mean missing an investor deadline, forgetting a product update, or failing to reply to a key client. I once heard a founder say, "We had the best idea, but we dropped the ball on execution." The idea survived, but the opportunity slipped away. Examples. The city dropped the ball on fixing the subway delays. I dropped the ball when I forgot to send the proposal. Why is this phrase powerful for you? Because it teaches accountability. In American culture, admitting "I dropped the ball" shows honesty, responsibility, and the will to improve. It's not only a confession, it's a commitment to do better next time. So when you make a mistake, big or small, don't hide it. Use the phrase, own it, and move forward. That's how leaders grow in business, in sports, and in life. Phrase 8, a wake-up call. Originally, it meant the hotel receptionist phoning your room in the morning. But today it's a metaphor. It means a shock, an event that forces you to pay attention, to change. In technology, wake-up calls happen every day. Think about data breaches. A company ignores weak passwords until a hack exposes millions of users. That crisis becomes a wake-up call for better security. Or picture a person who loses their smartphone for 2 days. No maps, no banking app, no food delivery. First, it feels like panic. But then it becomes a wake-up call about dependency, a chance to reset habits. In sports, coaches often use this phrase after a humiliating loss. A football team that gets crushed by an underdog hears, "This was a wake-up call." It means, train harder, focus again, stop being complacent. Examples. Her health check was a wake-up call to improve her diet. The blackout was a wake-up call to buy an emergency kit. Why should you remember this phrase? Because it carries emotional weight. Tells people, something important just happened and I cannot ignore it anymore. Using wake-up call makes your English stronger, sharper, closer to real life. So when you describe a turning point, whether it's in technology, health, or sports, say it clearly. It was a wake-up call. Phrase 9, to go the extra mile. The expression comes from an old idea. If someone asks you to walk 1 mile, you walk 2. Today, it means doing more than expected, giving more than required. In the startup world, I once worked with a small tech team preparing for Investor Day. Most teams stopped at slides and mock-ups. But one engineer stayed late, coded a working demo, and polished every detail. He went the extra mile. Investors noticed. That small act of over-delivering gave the team credibility and funding. Entertainment gives us the same lesson. Think of a singer like Beyoncé. She doesn't just rehearse the notes. She goes the extra mile, mastering choreography, stage design, even lighting cues. That's why her performances feel unforgettable. Or in film, actors like Heath Ledger, who studied the Joker role obsessively, going beyond the script, created a character that became iconic. Examples. Our teacher went the extra mile and recorded extra audios for us. She always goes the extra mile for her clients, sending personal thank you notes. Why should you use this phrase? Because it signals effort, dedication, and excellence. When you say, "We went the extra mile," you show pride in hard work. In American culture, this phrase is admired. It represents grit, persistence, the drive to stand out. So whether it's in English practice, in your job, or in your passions, don't just meet the line. Go beyond it. Go the extra mile. Phrase 10, a learning curve. In English, a learning curve describes the process of gaining skill. First, it feels steep, difficult, demanding, sometimes exhausting. But as time passes, the curve flattens, and what was once hard becomes almost automatic. Think about your first months at a new job. Maybe you had to run meetings or use unfamiliar software. In the beginning, every email felt stressful, every presentation a challenge. That was the steep part of the learning curve. But after weeks of practice, you discovered shortcuts, built confidence, and soon you were training others. The curve had flattened. Travel tells the same story. On an American road trip, I once rented a car with a GPS system I had never used. At first, the menus were confusing, the buttons overwhelming. But by the second day, I was navigating highways smoothly, confident and relaxed. The learning curve was real, but it was temporary. Even airports give us this lesson. For first-time travelers, security checks, boarding gates, baggage claim, it all feels chaotic. But after a few flights, you understand the rhythm. You know the routine. The steep curve becomes smooth. Examples. Switching to remote work had a steep learning curve for many employees. Driving in New York was a big learning curve, but he adapted fast. Why is this phrase useful? Because it describes growth with honesty. It acknowledges struggle, but it also promises progress. Saying, "It has a learning curve," shows you understand that difficulty is not failure. It's simply part of mastery. So the next time something feels hard, Whether it's English practice, a new app, or your first trip abroad, remember the phrase. Just a learning curve. Phrase 11, to hit the road. Literally, it means to start a journey, usually by car. Figuratively, it simply means to leave, to begin moving. Picture a classic American road trip. A family is loading the car with snacks, maps, and luggage. The moment the engine starts, someone says, "All right, time to hit the road." The phrase captures that feeling of departure, the excitement of going somewhere new. Airports give us another clear example. Boarding time arrives, the gate opens, and a traveler turns to their friend with a smile. "Let's hit the road." Even though they're not driving, the meaning is the same. It's about transition, starting the next part of the journey. Work life uses it too. After a long meeting, when everyone is ready to leave, someone might say, "Okay, let's hit the road." It adds energy, a touch of closure, and a shared sense of moving on. Examples. "We'd better hit the road early tomorrow to avoid traffic." After the conference, they hit the road and drove to the airport. Why is this phrase powerful? Because it's more than leaving, it's about beginning. In English, it marks a shift from waiting to action, from rest to movement. That's why it's loved in everyday life. So the next time you start a trip, finish a meeting, or even walk out of class, you can smile and say, "Let's hit the road." Phrase 12, to keep in touch. This phrase means staying connected with someone, even if you're far apart. In American family life, it's everywhere. When a child leaves for college on the other side of the country, parents hug them tightly and say, "Please keep in touch." It's more than words. It's a request to stay part of each other's daily lives. Today, technology makes this promise easier. Families use FaceTime to share birthdays, WhatsApp to send photos, or Instagram to post updates. Even across thousands of miles, keeping in touch keeps bonds alive. Examples. Even after graduation, they promise to keep in touch. "I use FaceTime every Sunday to keep in touch with my parents." Why should you learn this phrase? Because it's not just polite, it's emotional. Shows care, effort, and connection. In American culture, people value relationships that survive distance. Saying, "Let's keep in touch," is a way of saying, "You matter to me." So whether it's a friend moving away, a colleague changing jobs, or family living in another state, remember this phrase. Use it, mean it, and feel the connection it builds. Let's keep in touch. Phrase 13. In a hurry. This phrase means moving quickly because time is short. Picture a typical American morning. The alarm didn't go off, the kids can't find their shoes, the coffee machine is too slow, and the school bus is already turning the corner. Parents shout, "Come on, we're in a hurry." The whole house feels like a race. Airports bring the same feeling. You see travelers rushing with rolling bags, coffee cups in one hand, boarding passes in the other. Announcements echo. Final call. Everyone is clearly in a hurry. Examples. She was in a hurry to get the kids to school on time. I can't talk now, I'm in a hurry to catch my flight. Why does this phrase matter? 'Cause it's real. In daily life, time pressure is everywhere. At work, in travel, in family routines. Using "in a hurry" gives you a natural way to describe stress, urgency, or speed in English. So the next time you're running late for a meeting or rushing to grab your gate at the airport, you can say with confidence, "I'm in a hurry." Phrase 14, to pick up. This phrase is flexible. Can mean collecting something, collecting someone, or even learning something without effort. Think about shopping in the US. After work, you might say, "I need to pick up some groceries." At the store, you pick up milk, bread, and maybe some ice cream for the kids. It's simple, practical, and part of everyday language. Travel adds another meaning. At the airport, after a long flight, you hear the announcement, "Please pick up your luggage at baggage claim." Every American traveler knows that phrase. It's part of the journey home. Examples. Can you pick up the package from the post office? She picked up her suitcase at baggage claim. But here's the interesting part. To pick up can also mean learning casually. Spend a week in Paris and you might say, "I picked up a few French phrases." No classroom, just natural learning. That's why this phrase is so powerful. One expression, many uses. Shows how English works through context. And the more you practice, the faster you'll pick it up, just like you're picking up phrases right now. Phrase 15, just in case. This phrase means preparing for something that might happen, even if you're not sure it will. In American life, it shows up all the time. Imagine a family going for a weekend walk. The sky looks sunny, but mom still says, "Bring an umbrella, just in case." It's not about fear, it's about being ready. Travel makes it even clearer. Before a road trip, many Americans pack an extra charger, just in case the phone battery dies. At the airport, a traveler might carry snacks, just in case the flight is delayed. These little preparations reduce stress and create peace of mind. Examples. He saved the number, just in case he needed help. I brought an extra jacket, just in case the weather turned cold. This phrase is short, but it carries a big lesson. It reflects a universal human instinct, to plan for the unexpected. And when you use just in case in English, you're not only speaking naturally, you're also showing foresight, caution, and care. So next time you prepare for your day, slip this phrase into your thoughts. Because being ready is always wise, just in case. You've just learned 15 powerful English phrases. And that's not a small step, it's a breakthrough. These are not words from a textbook. They are living phrases, used every single day in families, in workplaces, in travel, and in real conversations across America. Think about it. 15 new tools are now in your hands. Each phrase is a key. With them you can unlock doors to confidence, to clarity, to connection. Imagine using "keep in touch with a friend abroad" or "just in case" when planning your next trip. Suddenly, English is not study, it's life. Here's the truth. Fluency doesn't come from one big moment. It comes from steady practice, phrase by phrase, block by block. Tonight you laid the foundation. And tomorrow when you repeat, you'll build even higher. This is how mastery is made. Through resilience, through repetition, through belief. So stay with me. Because the next set of phrases will push you further, shape your confidence, and train your brain to think in English naturally. Now I want to hear from you. Which phrase today spoke to you the most? Which one felt powerful, like you could use it tomorrow? Write it in the comments. I read every response, and your words inspire the next lessons. If this podcast gave you value, give it a like. Share it with a friend who also dreams of speaking English fluently. And subscribe to EnglishStoryHub, because together we are building something bigger than lessons. We are building transformation. You are not just learning English. You are becoming someone stronger today than yesterday, stronger tomorrow than today. This is your journey. And it's only the beginning.